You'll see. Absolute mess. So much dirt up there. Probably got to go up there another 2 times.
How we doing? We're good? We're good? Yeah, we're good. Okay. Feels like I should have done something else. Today's theme for this video is the sheer amount of heat. I think, what are we? 25, we've got 3 temperature monitors, 25, 28 and 23. So it feels very warm. Speaking of warm, today's episode is, of course, we're going back up into the roof space, the attic space, to install these cameras. And of course, last week, you'd probably remember, I was struggling to feed the cables through. So I ended up going outside and feeding bigger, thicker cables that I thought would be more visible. I did feed some electrical cable because it's quite stiff copper, and then a cut-off electrical cable. Cleaned up a bit, and now I'm going to go back up on the roof. And then I ascended into the roof. Okay. Take 2. There we go. I definitely can't feel it or see it. Contemplating my life choices. Okay. I'm going to try something else here. Because this is clearly not working. There we go. Oh. Like last week, I was trying to reach all the way in there to be able to see. The problem was I couldn't actually get my head into the space because the roof and the bottom, and I couldn't look over. I thought it would be here. What I'm going to try and do here is record. Oh, you can't see. Did you see that? This whole time, the 2 holes that I was looking for were right there. They had been there all along, and for some reason I couldn't see them. Yeah, how strange. I only just noticed it when I was editing it, which is months and months later. Okay, well, nothing there. And you can clearly see there that the cable is coming through. But funnily enough, even if I had seen it, it might not have made any difference because I actually couldn't reach it. I couldn't get my arm down in there to pick it up. Oh, okay. We are going to have to go back outside, try this again. But I think what I'll do is I'll set up the camera to look this way, and if I can see it coming up through the space, then I know it's there. It's the only thing I can think of. Well, we're just going to have to put it here. I can't think of any other place to put it. That could work. That noise you heard was me basically trying to push the cable further up into the attic space from outside. And I was hoping that the camera would pick up the cable coming through, sort of doing a little dance, and then I could see it. And when I got back up into the roof space, I reviewed the footage to see if I could see it, but I couldn't see it at all.
Okay, we're up here for the third time. Can't see it there.
I did that whole process again. I climbed all the way back to the hole in the roof, back down to go outside, put the thing up into the hole that I'd created. I'm not saying this particularly well. And then I walked all the way back, climbed up back into the roof, took about 2 minutes to cross the roof, and I still couldn't see it.
Well, we couldn't quite do it. Can't find where that cable's coming through. I need something stiffer to get up there. Stiff wire, which I've got. I just got to look for it. We've run out of time. Yeah. But we'll be back tomorrow trying again. I've just got to clean up now.
So at this point, I'd gone up about 2 or 3 times, and I'd tried various methods to try and sight that cable so I can pull it through. Electricians use fish tape. It's basically a piece of metal generally covered in some sort of plastic, and it's actually quite easy to fish through holes, and that's the name, fish tape. I personally don't have any fish tape because I'm not an electrician and I don't do too much of that work. But in a situation like this, yeah, probably could have helped.
Okay, we're day 2 now. Day 2, yeah, I'm completely dressed differently. And it's actually hotter than yesterday, so it's going to be quite hot up there. I'm just about to go up there. I can't talk much because I'm going to have the mask on. I hope I figured out. I've basically ran some really thick wire up into the roof space. Hopefully we'll see it when we're up there. If not, I have to come back down and all that.
And instead of running the electrical cables and the little orange cable, I thought I would run a very long, thick wire. I didn't film that for some reason, so you're just going to have to take my word for it. But as you can see in this video, there's the 2 original holes, still couldn't find. And here are 2 new holes, which I had to make to try and work out how to get those cables to run through. And in that photo you did see the cables running through because obviously I didn't film it, and that was the shot from later on in the video.
Do have an assistant today, my wonderful partner. She is standing by in case I need her. I've just got to make sure I empty my pockets because you end up, like I get my phone caught in there. I just wish I had a pocket that wasn't going to cause problems. I might try and change position. No, that'll fall out. I'll just have to not hurt myself. Okay, mask on.
First thing I'll do is we will move, I think, just stop the camera.
So it takes about 2 to 3 minutes to walk across the roof, depending on what I'm holding and how sore I feel on that particular day. And here's an example. I think I showed last time exactly where you've got to go. That one's a bit more chaotic.
Oh, that's the hardest part to do. So I'm going to go forward. Now what I forgot.
It is never easy to get in those spaces. Just remember, I've got to be fully clothed because I don't want to get all of the glass wool all over me.
It's right there. Oh, it's beauty. Grab it.
Hooray, I managed to find the cable and I pulled the metal cable through. Now I'm basically just tidying up all the wires and getting them ready to pull back down into the outside area. I've got to make sure that the tape that I'm putting around there is even on both sides so it doesn't get caught on anything. It is quite important to make sure that they're not going to rip apart. And here's a shot of what they look like. I've got quite a bit of tape around the cables, that's the red tape. I generally put them along the cable and then wrap them round, simply because it gives it a bit more ability to pull. But if you just wrap it around that way, it can actually unspiral.
Right, time to go back. Sweaty and all.
And I trot back across the roof and back outside. And so now I can pull all of the cables through. It did take me 2 days to get to this point, but it was a big relief because it was very hot, and you'll see when I'm outside it was a very, very sunny day.
We have pulled the cables through the hole up there. It actually was so easy, and I was in a bit of a rush because, you know, you want to get this stuff done quickly, and I didn't going back up and down and all that kind of stuff was crazy. So that worked. I've pulled the cables through, I've connected both cameras, and we can see both front and back. Anyway, I'm just going to tidy this up, putting some conduit up and so on and so forth. So hope you enjoy watching the rest of it.
And I put my respirator on to make sure I don't breathe in any asbestos that could be in the panel that I'm drilling through. All I really need to do is make sure I protect all of these cables from water, even though both cables are actually waterproof themselves and the cameras have like a little waterproof sleeve on them. I'm just taking that extra precaution so it lasts a lot longer. I had to install these electrical junction boxes, a little bit of finagling to get it through. That seemed to work okay. I did have to make sure I had the right size junction box that goes with the right size conduit. Then I just connected all of the connections together. Oh, did my batteries run out on the... Hold on, caller. Well, it says battery is full. So, yeah. Had a minor technical difficulty, but I fixed it.
Well, there we go. I've got everything in the conduit. I just don't have any conduit clips. So that's a trip to the hardware store to go and get. I did have heaps, but I used them in the shed, so I have to go buy some. Let's take a look. I'm just going to record my screen. Hopefully that records. Now
Caulking is one of those skills that some people are amazing at. I am personally quite terrible at.
bit of a tip for caulking. Glove. Why do you want to get it on your hand? Something wet. So your hands are wet. This is just a wet wipe.
The main reason why I use the glove is because I don't want to get bacteria in the cork. That's the only reason. I don't care about getting it on my finger. I just don't want mold to grow on the bacteria that's on my finger. I mean, I could wash my hands, but to be perfectly honest, there's always going to be bacteria on there, and it will go in that cork.
Now we wait 24 hours and then we'll put the last bit on. That one's pretty much done, but just needs a bit of paint. didn't want it all out on my hands. So we'll come back tomorrow, put the clips on, and put the last bit of the cork on. All done.
I can't quite remember whether it was that afternoon or the next day, but I got the clips that I needed. And here I am installing them. And there we go. We have all 3 cameras done. It took 3 or 4 days. You'll obviously just see these 2. These cameras were not sponsored in any way, and I use these cameras fairly regularly. One looks out onto the street. You've probably seen the little video that I did of that. And the second one looks down the driveway. The one that looks down the driveway gives a really nice view of the city, or at least a part of the city. Just got overcast. Okay, so you can see that it's a bit annoying because the clips that I got are actually white. So yeah, I just gotta do something about this, maybe up here, but as you can see, it's white and grey. From a distance you can't tell. I still might figure out how to do this because that just looks ugly. I just can't figure out a clean way to do it, but I'll probably cut more of the conduit and bring all of the cables back down, but I'll do that another day simply because you know, I've been going at this for 3 days, and I think 3 days is about enough to install 2 cameras. But anyway, there you go. Going up into that roof space is not something that I like doing, but I have gone up there many times, and no doubt I'll probably go up there quite a few times to come. I hope you enjoyed me sweating and then finally getting those cameras installed. Next week we are in for a completely different thing. We're doing some fixing in a different part of the house. It is the garage door. This end part buckled and came off. I would close the door, but unfortunately it is quite warm. Yeah, I might not have filmed that particularly well, so well, I guess I'll find out when I start editing that video in a few days. Thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, please like the video, and if you have anything to say, whether you agree with the way I did it or maybe there was a better way I could have done it, just put a comment below and it will be wonderful to read it. Until next week, have a wonderful week, and we will see you for the 3rd time, saying week, next week. That was actually the 4th.